Tour Eiffel qui a été construite en seulement 2 ans pour l'exposition universelle de 1889. Nous la devons à l'ingénieur français Gustave Eiffel et elle s'est liée à...
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are in Paris, France, and we are visiting Paris and London with EF Tours. So sit back and enjoy as we experience Paris. So let's get started.
After arriving at the airport, we were told that our flight to JFK was canceled and we would have to get new flights. So we waited in line for a long time and they finally got us on some JetBlue flights, but it was in a different terminal. We finally made it over and had to check in individually, all 13 of us. At JFK, we also had to check into Air France, and that wasn't any easier because they didn't even have seats for us at the time, so we had to check in individually and then go back and check in individually again. But we did make it through to Paris.
Our first dinner was right across from Notre Dame Cathedral at Bruges Notre Dame, and we had beef bolognese, escargot, and creme brulee for the dessert. This was by far the best meal that we had included in the EF tour in Paris.
On day one, we did go on a driving bus tour of Paris, and it was wonderful to sit and relax from the bus while looking out and seeing all of the sights.
This one is charming inside, okay? It's free of charge because it's like a city museum, and it's really nice. But remember, like the bridge that we've got in front of us, these are the constructions from 1900. So we see the bridge from the other side. Okay. It's being crowned by the goddess of war. And yes, you can see the flowers for the soldier and you can see the flame, okay? And in a minute we'll be driving down the avenue with the green flags, that's the Champs-Élysées, okay? But now we'll drive. Yeah, the traffic is crazy sometimes, even though it's a Saturday. We're stuck in the traffic here. So you got the first group of statues of Napoleon. The second one is more famous. Do you see this woman like the winged victory? She's taking the soldiers to victory because remember that it's all about Napoleon's victories. Can you see the names that we've got, like Luxembourg, Ypres, that's in Belgium, right? Yeah, you got La Coronia, Naples, Mantova, so these are all the victories of Napoleon. And then you've got the other side with different sculptures, okay? But once again, it's about Napoleon. Called St. Helena. Really difficult to get there. Until a few months ago, just by boat. Now they've got... back. The towers inside we've got bells. Just before the fire we got brand new bells coming from Normandy, okay, so French bells. And you can see the doorways. It's crazy to think that until the 19th century, you see the space in front of the cathedral is not that big, but until the 19th century, believe it or not, there used to be like 2 smaller churches in front of the cathedral.
After a long day of touring the city, we got back to the hotel, learned one of our travelers' bags that had not been sent over and not been available at pickup when we flew in was at the airport, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and we had a limited window to get there before they closed. And after 40 minutes of waiting, we finally got her bag.
One evening, we went on a wonderful tour of the river Seine, and it was chilly up on top of that boat, but well worth it to go up and see everything with a very clear view.
The Eiffel Tower was only built in 2 years for the World Fair of 1889 by the French engineer Gustave Eiffel. It celebrates the centenary of the French Revolution. Elle mesure 330 mètres de haut et pèse plus de 10 000 tonnes. Pendant longtemps, ça a même été la tour la plus haute du monde, jusqu'à la construction à New York du Chrysler Building dans les années 30. It's more than 1,000 feet high and it weighs more than 10,000 tons. And for a long time it was the highest tower in the world, until the construction in New York of the Chrysler Building in the 1930s. Impressive collection of impressionist paintings. Toujours sur la gauche, après le musée d'Orsay, vous avez avec le dôme vert le palais de la Légion d'honneur. Également musée de la Légion, c'est la plus haute distinction française, créée par Napoléon Ier en 1802. But at first, the Louvre was only a tiny fortress, built in the 12th century by the King Philippe Auguste to protect Paris. Au XIVe siècle, c'est devenu la résidence royale, quand le roi Charles V a quitté la conciergerie sur l'île de la Cité. In the 14th century, it became the royal residence when the King Charles V left the conciergerie, the former residence of the kings, on the city island.
The second dinner provided by EF Tours was La Bourse. Of course, my translation is terrible, but this dinner was okay. It was a chicken and rice dish, and it was okay. Oh no, it's a video. I forgot to change it.
One of the highlights from our time in Paris was a French macaron making class. We arrived and they had everything laid out and prepared for us so that we could start immediately getting our dough prepared. We were mixing and mixing and mixing, and this was a very tedious process. You can see a little bit of what was happening here. While we were putting some elbow grease into this dough making process, one of the chefs was preparing the meringue mixture. You can see the mixture of syrup boiling and getting to the exact right temperature while he pours the mixture into the egg whites. Perfection. Once we mixed the meringue mixture into our dough, then it was ready to pour into piping bags and get ready to make the macaron shells.
Alors.
Ils sont très motivés, hein. Ouais. En plus, j'ai jamais vu ça. Maybe I'll do a little on your face. What? Oh, I already have some. I got it.
Yep.
That's yours? Okay. You got different size.
The chefs had a nice variety of fillings for us to pipe into our macaron shells. And then we were able to have a tasty treat to take with us as a souvenir from our time in Paris. One morning, we walked up to Montmartre, the artist district, and on the way up, we were able to see this beautiful church, which is one of the jewels of the area.
It's a video, actually.
La joie du croyant qui se sait foule et par la foi du croyant est conduit par la passion et la mort de Jésus jusqu'à sa résurrection. Dans l'Évangile, c'est cette même réalité que nous pouvons contempler. Jésus sacrifie. Il se met au niveau de la pécheresse accusée. Non pour l'accuser du jet de la pierre, mais pour la relever. Jésus ne se met pas dans la position du juge pour prononcer la sentence. Il descend, il communie. Pour communier à la faiblesse humaine, au péché des hommes. C'est Dieu.
Look at all these stairs. Oh, goodness. The artist district right beside the church had tons of little stands where local artists are selling their pieces, and several artists were also there doing portraits and cartoons.
Nobody else? I guess we're good. Oh, listen. Check. Yes. That's a French style. Yeah. French style. Check her out on YouTube. I know she's good.
And grab a piece of bronze.
You happy?
I'm good.
Yeah. Also, by the way, that is just a small area here to the right.
We were so busy the entire time, the bus became a great place to take a quick nap. The next morning, we were scheduled to tour the Louvre, and I was somewhat disappointed only because we didn't have enough time in the museum. I feel like some meeting times could have been changed up. That would have given us 30 extra minutes, but the Louvre is just so big that it's very hard to try and see everything, and I felt like I was running the entire time. However, of course, we did see the highlights. I just wish we saw more of them.
Right. You just want to wait over there. I'll be over, and once we've got everybody, I'll be over, and then you're going to use the bathroom.
As soon as everybody had a restroom break and our tickets were sorted out, it was a race to get in line for the Mona Lisa, La Gioconda. And we're headed up the stairs. There's a hallway to get there. We're like 10 minutes away. On the way to the Mona Lisa, you'll see other works by some great Italian Renaissance masters, and then just follow the line of people, and you'll eventually make it to the room where the Mona Lisa is. It's not hard to find because it is filled with people. We got there just in time to stand in line right before it got too busy. So the museum is so big that we're walking past most of the stuff on display because we don't have time to stop and look at it. In this hallway, there was art by some great masters, but there's just not enough time. Just giving Natalie a chance to get her photo.
My favorite thing to see at the Louvre was Napoleon's apartments. These were very fancy, intricate, ornate rooms with the things that Napoleon may have used in the past, like his throne and dining room set, and it was just amazing to look at. I definitely recommend stopping by this area if you're in the Louvre.
After visiting the Louvre, the bus picked us up and we headed to the Eiffel Tower, where I learned that I am not a fan of heights anymore. That is our bus. All the way down there. What do you think? The Statue of Liberty flame.
Yeah, gold.
Gold.
No waste.
La chambe martyrs for the soup. How was the soup?
It's good. After we finished at the Eiffel Tower, we had a little bit of time before our dinner reservations. So we were dropped off at a mall that was full of designer fashion from Paris and around the world. It was a little bit more expensive than what we wanted to spend souvenir-wise, but still a really good experience. And look at this rooftop view.
Hi.
I was most interested in the designer and custom shoe section at the mall, which is something that really you don't see at malls in America.
The final dinner in Paris was at Flam's, and we had some traditional flatbread Parisian style pizza.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, it is a small room. Queen size bed. Now let's go see the bathroom. Oh, tight little fit right there. Dun dun. Again, this is our third day. And this shower situation is very tricky. If you have slipped, it's understandable. But everything you need.